Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If there's a different vibe in the air, if there's a different energy, if you see a different bounce on your screen, don't adjust, don't fix your Wi-Fi. It is playoff football time, baby. It is grown man football time. Now, off the top, I gotta apologize because I couldn't find the shirt that I really wanted to wear, and the hoodie is in the washer. But we are gonna get into all the action for this weekend, and we are going to highlight throughout the show. We're not even planning it, just naturally. You will see the three mottos: trap, 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 film over feelings, and of course, the one thing that will always remain constant, Big Junior: no beef, no Lombardi.
No Lombardi.
Yes, sir. We got seven games? Yeah, we got just an unbelievable lineup of games this weekend, and we are going to start through all of them. But let's get an introduction first. Vic Jr., talk to the people.
Yeah, man, just excited for today, especially this first game. I'm with Josh, man. I'm just got just the nerves, the anxiousness, whatever you want to call it, going 100 miles an hour. Got some matchups to discuss. Some one-on-one matchups we're going to discuss today. Some things that I've seen that I think are going to be key to these games. Just excited, man. Like I said before, it was an exciting season despite all the drama, different things that go on, especially with the COVID situation. It's been a great season. The NFL did a good job kind of sitting back, and letting the players play for the most part. And I'm just excited for this playoff chase, man, because literally there's some young players, like a Chase, that I'm excited to see what they do and how they perform. So
absolutely. Another person I know is excited to see Chase is Mr. Category 5 himself, Josh Storms, getting to experience his first Bengals playoff game in some time, and hopefully he will experience a playoff win. Josh, the last time the Bengals won a game in the playoffs, texting was not yet invented. How are you feeling today, sir?
I will have you know I was 4 years old. but boy, I bounced out of bed today at 7:30 in the morning. Like, that is earlier than I normally get up. I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep. I am so hyped for this. This is not the Bengals team that I grew up watching. It's something different about these guys. And I like the matchup we drew. I'm just here to watch and appreciate the greatness.
Absolutely. And somebody we know always appreciates greatness. Every time he got those glasses on, I just think of a professor that be a college professor that be flirting with his students and shit. Mr. Oh So True, talk to the people.
Hey, normally we get Germ. Today we got Jeremy.
Yeah. I'm not feeling real Jeremy today. To be honest with y'all, man, as long as I don't got no Miss Parker's coming up, hey Professor Ogilvy, I'm good. What's up, man? I'm here though, man. Let's talk about these games. My guy said 7 games. It's only 6, but we got you.
Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying 7 games.
I think maybe it's a good basketball game on or something. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, 22 man, 22 crew. Let's get this thing going. And Mo,
yes, sir.
Take it away, my guy.
So, obviously, we got all these playoff games coming, right? But before we get to any of that, there is something that came across my timeline earlier today, and I took a screenshot of it, and I figured, you know what? We are going to start the show with this here. First of all,
you're muted.
Shout out to everybody in the comment section. See everybody in there. Welcome. There is something I wanted to talk about before we get any further. And maybe it's not as interesting as I think it is, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Nick Wright, okay? And yes, I am bringing up Nick Wright in a positive light on a football show. stranger things have happened. Let's move on. He made a list of the most to gain from winning a Super Bowl this year. Okay, Vic, did you see this list?
No.
Jerm, did you see this list?
Already?
Josh, did you see this list? Perfect. So I didn't see the video. I just saw the list. Number 8, meaning least likely to gain anything from winning a Super Bowl. Tom Brady, rightfully so. That is obvious. Now, I don't agree with most of this list. I'm going to go through it quickly. Number 7, he had Dak Prescott. Number 6,
what?
He had Josh Allen. Number 5,
throw that shit away.
He had Matthew Stafford. Number 4, which I think is way too, should have been higher, should have been more. Number 4 is bootleg number 12, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my! Who's this
Number
again?
3 is Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 is Joey Burrow. And number 1 is Bill Belichick and Mac Jones.
Okay, so hold on. I'm sorry. The highest on that list means you have the most to lose?
The most to gain.
As in the most to gain. So
the most to gain. I just put it in the in our little group chat there. It was coming. Still sending. But yeah. So that's the list. Here's what I'll say. We'll pass it around. See if anybody wants to give it a little nod or whatever. If you're in the Feast 22 Facebook group, I'll post a screenshot shortly so you can follow along. As always, we're going to end up making our own damn list. But what I do want to touch on is number 1, my first reaction, obviously, Brady has the least to gain from this, okay? Yes. Number 2, obviously, Bill Belichick has the most to gain from this. That is not a coincidence that those two guys are on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Now, I shouldn't say obviously for the Bill Belichick one, but that's just my humble opinion on it. Number 3, there is way not enough pressure. Is that Mason? Not enough pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Like 4th, you telling me Mahomes? I don't know, man. I don't know. Germ, let's open it up to you.
First of all, Aaron Rodgers should be number 1 on that list.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers should be number 1 on that list for 3 reasons. Number 1, he hasn't made it past the NFC Championship game in the last, 10, 12 seasons. Mm-hmm. So we got that monkey is on his back. Then you have the other part. The number 2 reason is the Green Bay is always an excuse with Green Bay every single year. It's always the defense isn't good enough, or this player didn't do this, or this player didn't do this. But every year, Aaron Rodgers has great stats. So how does Aaron Rodgers not have great receivers and throw for 48 touchdowns? Like, somebody has to catch the ball, bro. This is a myth and a legend now. I'm getting annoyed. Then number 3, and most importantly, when do we place accountability on the quarterback? He's been in games where he's had the opportunity to take the game. So you're going to say last year's team wasn't good enough to beat that Buccaneers team? Last year's team was healthier than this year's team. And they had everybody playing at a high level. So people think, some people may say, well, Aaron, you're hard on Aaron. No, he just makes Sagittarians look bad, and I'm over it. Like, it's time for us to boot him out of the Sagittarian group and put him with the Scorpios. I'm sick of this over and over again, where we got to continue to deal with all this other nonsense. Then he dog. Aaron Rodgers is number 1 on the list, period. After Aaron Rodgers, I think Bill would be number 2 or number 3. Matt Stafford should be top 3 on this list.
Oh, because
you got to be SHIT in me if you think that this Rams team is not equipped to win a Super Bowl. They have everything you need. They're not going to be great at stopping the run if they got quick twitch athletes everywhere. They're gearing up to be like an Indianapolis Colts-esque type of a team. Fast, rally to the ball, tackle, keep it 3rd and 7 and more, and get to the passer. That's what they're on defense to do. On offense, that's a balanced breakfast. They can run and they can pass.
Amen.
But at the end of the day, Matt Stafford needs to be top 3 on that list. I don't care if he's number 2 or number 3. Bill deserves to be top 3 on the list naturally. And my last question thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to pass it. Bill deserves to be top 3 on the list just because this is the first time we can say we feel like he has a comparable quarterback without 12.
100% agreed. 100%
and
agreed.
The defense is playing at a very high level.
100% agreed.
So I'm gonna give some numbers on the. I'll give some interesting things about the defense in a little bit later. But just know, like that should be the top 3. I don't understand this why Aaron Rodgers always. Well, he's number 5.
Yeah. I would honestly put
sanitize my hands.
First of all, shout out to the Scorpios, man. I love the Scorpios. Okay, they have been beneficial to my life, if I can be completely honest and transparent. Anyways, the one thing I do think. What's that?
Which part of your life?
Pause.
I don't know why you got the Josh Storms laugh. I thought that was Josh Storms laughing. I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know why you sound like Storms laughing there. Anyways,
I do not laugh like that.
You do not, but if you were to laugh like that, it would sound like that. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. I think Patrick Mahomes should be 7th on that list, meaning that he has the least to gain, only because he's so young and he already has one, and the chances are this is not going to be his last opportunity. But obviously, you can never assume anything in the National Football League. Vic, give us your input on everything.
My guy, like this list is almost should be flipped, except that yes, you can leave Brady at 8, but like Belichick and Mac Jones right now, really, that could be 7th. Pat Mahomes could be 6th.
Okay.
Or you can swap them between 6 and 7, however you want to put it.
Okay.
I mean, how does Dak and the Cowboys not have much to gain? How does Josh Allen not have much to gain on this list? Like they should be in the top 5. But specifically, like Jerm said, Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford should be 1 and 2 on this list. Like guaranteed 1 and 2 on this list. The whole talk about Stafford being, he is a physically gifted quarterback. But is he mentally prepared? Is he mentally ready for that high level of play that's called the playoffs? That's always been the question. We know what kind of arm the guy has. You know what I mean? We like he's physically gifted player at the position. But he just there's things that he does that is very questionable decision making. It just seems like under pressure he just loses what needs to be done kind of thing, and he's shown that the last month of the season. So and then I could go all day about Aaron Rodgers, bro. Like to me, Germ says that last year's team was better. I think this year there's a different feel to it. I've been saying it for weeks now. Green Bay being number 1, I don't think Tampa Bay wants to have to go through them again, and they're gonna have to. I don't think Dallas wants to go through them through Green Bay, and they're gonna have to. So there is no excuses for Rodgers, bro. Like, he has the number 1 spot again. He has a bye week this week, which means he has 3 games left to get to the Super Bowl. I don't see how he's not number 1 on this list.
I think, again, and I'm not disagreeing with you because I'm just simply adding to what you're saying in a way. From how I interpreted the list,
yes,
based on how he ranked them, and this is why I disagree with him, is number 8, least to prove, number 1, most to prove. And Germ, when you initially said Matt Stafford, I kind of was like, I disagree. Wait, maybe I don't. Like, Aaron Rodgers should be number one on that list. I'm fine with leaving Bill on that list, but Matt Stafford is not going to be farther than Aaron Rodgers because the whole thing is, yo, this dude's career has been wasted in Detroit. Yo, this dude is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. Who said that? I said that, but he quickly went from underrated to overpaid. Like that's the way it goes in the NFL.
Right.
That's it just from it just the location. It depends on where you're at. And when you're in LA, Hollywood, with that gajillion-dollar stadium, it's going to matter how you play. And there is everything needed in this Rams organization for them to make a run. We talk about a 3 to 5 year window. I'm sorry, Vic, I'm going to let you jump in after this. We talk about a 3 to 5 year window in the NFL for a Super Bowl. The Rams are in that unique position because of their limited future assets where they're in a year-to-year window. And this year, they got just as good as a chance as last year and the year prior when they actually made it to the Super Bowl. Go ahead, Vic.
No, and like the past, month, he's been inconsistent. They've had games where like the last drive they won it. You know what I mean? Like he made plays to help the team win the game, but he's also made plays to kind of put them in position where they can almost lose that game. So, he has to find more consistency, especially now, like it's playoff season. So starting the game off good and ending the game off good has to be his goal. He cannot have 3 bad quarters and then in the fourth quarter hope to make a comeback because that comeback might not be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy, anything you want to add before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. So we kind of want to keep this light and fresh. Is there anything you guys want to address before we jump into the actual games?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian Flores.
Go ahead.
Word on the street is, well, not word on the street. He interviewed for the Texas job. Sir, why? This goes to my statement before about trauma in general. Why are we going for traumatic experiences? Knowing that Houston is probably not the organization that you need to be going to. Mm-hmm. It's unacceptable, bro. If you are a black coach and you go to that organization and say, after what just happened, you're a black coach and you go to that organization, you better get Bill O'Brien type of strings.
I'm gonna let you finish.
That's all I need to say. I don't need to say anything extra, because it's gonna get real rude and disrespectful. And
again,
today,
this is just go back to the culture. Okay, you see the logo. Josh got the logo. Germ got the logo. We all got it on. When me and Germ disagree, it's not an argument. It's more of, I see what you're saying, but I see what you're saying, but I see what you're saying, and this is where I was like, I see where you're coming from a couple of days ago. Because see, now Flores has the stature. Now Flores his foot is in the door. He's in the room, and you can't get him out of the room. And when the guy that tried to kick him out of the room, or at least off the table, go sit on the couch, he did it at a time where Flores' stock is still high. Okay. So now if you're Brian Flores, now you listen to Germ. Now you listen to that perspective of, well, I'm not going to just take any job. And I think if you are Brian Flores, there is one thing that you can sell to, I don't know, man, 22 teams in the NFL. Hey, if I come, Deshaun Watson is coming. So if you're Brian Flores, you got all the leverage in the world right now to take the job you want. The only team that you can't get Deshaun Watson is the Houston Texans.
Because what? Dude, come on, dude. You can't make this up, man. You can't make this up.
You can't make this up.
So
I 100% agree with you, Germ. No ifs, ands, or buts.
He was because he getting ready to have everybody outside with the why y'all keep firing black coaches sign again after he about to make another traumatic experience happen.
Yeah,
bro, I wouldn't have even took the interview because you're looking at a situation where this franchise has shown that it's inept in a lot of different ways. And this franchise has also shown you that they're not committed to winning long term, considering they gave Bill O'Brien a chance to destroy and obliterate that roster. Bro, he wasn't just the head coach. He was bringing in the players he wanted in drafts. He was GM and head coach. So if you're Brian Flores, unless I get Bill O'Brien reins from this organization, where I bring in what I want, because that's the reason why you got fired over there, is because you didn't get the player that you wanted. Ultimately, you wanted Deshaun Watson. Ultimately, you never wanted Tua. You wanted Herbert. And real quick, to put this to bed, they didn't have a chance to get Mac Jones. So I want everybody to stop saying that. The story has come out in two different ways. One story says he said this. The other one said that he hinted at this. Bro, it's the same story with the same picture and two different media sources. I just want y'all to know, if I got two stories with two different headlines and the same picture, both stories are bull. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, just a couple of things off of that. I mean, there was rumors also that he was in favor of the Tua pick, but that he soured on him quickly, saying that he didn't like his work ethic and things like that. So there's just so many reports coming from there, as well as the fact that he's been hard to deal with. I just think that he's like a Bill Belichick type of guy. He's going to have to get some adults into these buildings and some kids that can deal with his type of, attitude and coaching style and stuff like that. But David Culley, to me, and Houston did a great job. Considering the roster that he had, considering the drama that was in, Houston, around the Texans organization, I think he did an awesome job. I think those players played their butts off for him. There was games that they won that they should have not won. So
and they were in every game almost.
Right. So what makes you think you're going to go over there and change anything or make anything different if you don't get the power that Jeremy's talking about? Bringing in football guys are going to help me put a roster and a coaching staff together. That I would take the interview if and ask those questions.
I dig it. I absolutely dig it. All right, boys. Now that we done warmed up, talked about a couple of things, let's get to it, baby. We got two matchups on the schedule today. Two very, very good matchups. Okay. Two matchups that are going to be obviously dictate a lot in what's going to happen in the AFC the next few weeks. Styles make fights, ain't that right? True. And in these games, like the winner of these games is like, okay, how do I say this? If this team wins, then this other team has a less chance of making to the Super Bowl. If this team wins, then this other team has a less chance of making the Super Bowl. And this year, it matters more than ever, these matchups. So it's not like whoever the worst team in the playoffs is, Pittsburgh, whoever the worst team in the playoffs is, if you beat this one team, all of a sudden, just different things happen. So at this point,
can we just put the state of Philadelphia up as the worst team?
Pennsylvania, sir. Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry, Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm sorry. Can we just put the state of Pennsylvania as the worst?
Sir,
yes.
Sir, you are coming from the state of Ohio, okay, where there has not been a Super Bowl won. And in the meantime, there has been 7 won by the state of Pennsylvania.
I'm just saying that the Eagles and the Steelers are the two worst teams in this bracket, and that, sir, is a fact. It didn't. I mean, it didn't have. I didn't say that Ohio was good. I didn't even believe in Ohio. I didn't even believe in Ohio. I simply believe. I believe in Odell Landry and Joseph Ebenezer Burrow more than I believe in Baker. I can't see over the line Mayfield. So I'm just simply saying the worst two teams in this particular bracket is the in that Pennsylvania region.
Hey, bro. All I'm saying is, before you come for the Allegheny Mountains, just be careful. That's all. I could care less, honestly. I'm just.
Good, because we're here to talk about today, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are damn right. All right. So let's get to it. We got the 10-7 Las Vegas Raiders versus the 10-7 Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals obviously won their division first time in like 5 years, I believe it was. And then the Raiders got in. Obviously, we know their story, how they got in. John Gruden fired midseason. Whether you think it was right or wrong or indifferent, whatever, he was fired midseason. Coach stepped in, did a fantastic job. If we're being honest, this team has played some solid fundamental football. It starts with that quarterback, Derek Carr, and that's why they're in the playoffs. And also because the Chargers don't know how to close games, but whatever. Here's what we got. Over-under, wrong one. Over-under is 48.5, and the Raiders are 5.5-point underdogs. As far as the injuries are concerned, the Bengals, for the most part, they are good to go. Nothing of major significance that everybody should be good to go. The only exception, obviously, is the linebacker, Akeem Gathers, who we are going to get into why. That's important, but obviously he's been out since week 9. As far as the Raiders are concerned, Jonathan Hankins is the only significant player listed as questionable. Kind of a game-time decision, but he's been trending upward. Casey Hayward, Josh Jacobs, and Darren Waller all should be good to go. We're going to touch a little bit on Darren Waller in a couple minutes here. So, Vic, I'm going to toss it to you. Give me what you got.
I mean, to me, this matchup is going to be about the Bengals offensive tackles versus that pass rush, the defensive ends for the Raiders. You got Max Crosby, who's outstanding. One of the most underappreciated pass rushers in this league. 82 pressures. He led the league with 82 pressures, fellas, including 8 sacks. He's going to go up against right tackle Isaiah Prince, which I'm sure Josh is very familiar with, being that Riley Reef is out for the season and Isaiah's had to take his spot. And according to PFF, he's been graded really badly in terms of pass protection. So the Bengals are going to have to do a lot of things where they're going to have to chip on Max Crosby, kind of double team him, get the tight ends involved, get the running backs involved, and kind of neutralizing that, because if anything is weak on that Bengals team right now is those offensive tackles. And, Max Crosby, as well as Yannick Ngakoue, one of the hardest names to pronounce. Another kid has put a lot of pressure. So the Raiders, have been, on top of the league and putting pressure on the offenses. So that's going to be key for them winning this game. It does look like that the Bengals should be able to dominate, but it's going to be between that, like we said, that beef is going to be important in this game.
Absolutely. Jerm, jump on this. Let's get the conversation going on this game.
So 3 keys to the game for both teams. And this is kind of universal. Whichever team runs the ball the best, I think is going to be able to be able to win the game. Josh Jacobs and that stable of running backs that they have for Oakland. People try to give Oakland's offensive line all of this flack. They're still a big unit and they still move people. When we talking about things that you do, Leatherwood was never a tackle to begin with. He was a right guard prospect. That's where he was supposed to be. He's in his rightful spot at right guard now. He's moving people when they're going to some of these outside zone plays. He's moving people when they want to run up the gut. It doesn't matter what they're doing. And when they run my play, you're allowed to stay. That's where we're going to go with this when it comes down to running the ball. Third down. For the Bengals, it's going to be third down defense. Any game that the Bengals don't get off the field on third down, they get their ass kicked. Just that simple. Any game that the Raiders are able to be good on third down, they make the game interesting. The game is always, they're going to score 30 points. The key here is third down defense. When you see Waller in the slot, double him. You should have Jesse over top, put Von right there in front of him. That's what you want to do because you want Jesse tracking the ball and you want Von being physical. Really simple. And if you really want to get creative, this is what you bring a utility secondary player like a Woozier over for. A 6'2" corner that has long arms, that should be able to get up into Waller, but also a guy who should be able to cover him and be able to make some of those throws a little bit tighter when it comes down to being in coverage down the field. Tackling. Why is tackling important for both teams? Because if the Bengals are making tackles behind the line of scrimmage, when those linebackers are shooting gaps, that's a total different defense than when they're not. When the Raiders can't make tackles in the secondary, because those linebackers can be gotten. We can get them with some misdirections and with running backs like Joe Mixon who understand the jump cut and how to use it. You will have to tackle in their secondary today. That means, is John Abraham playing? Because if he's playing today, we have to make sure he doesn't have a broken neck by the end of this game, because that's how many tackles he may have to make today if we can't stop the run. If John Abraham is your best run-stopping defender and that's your free safety, strong safety, because they use him as both, Vic. I don't understand why, but it doesn't make sense. But whatever. If that's your best tackler and you don't got no linebackers on your team that you trust more than him, we got other problems to worry about. Pass it back.
Man, I got a lot to add. I'm going to hold my thoughts. Let's bring in Category 5 Storms in the building right now. Josh, I've been waiting for the last 35, 40 minutes. I know you got a lot to say. I'm not going to give you anything specific. I'm going to just pass you the mic. You know the matchup. You know the records. You know the history of this Bengals team, especially in recent memory, all those losses in the first round under Marvin Lewis. I know you are itching for that playoff win. Floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, man. First of all, a lot of good points there. One of the first things I was going to say is I expect to see a lot of what we saw in week 11, which is a slow, steady diet of Joe Mixon, and in order to negate some of that pass rush, because I do not have a lot of faith in Isaiah Prince going up against Max Crosby one-on-one. So like Vic was saying, they're going to have to double team him, get the running backs involved with the blocking, beyond that, man, I'm really excited to see if we can establish the run early. It's the play action that is going to really open up the game for us. I think Chase obviously is one of the best deep threats in the league, and if we can get them to commit 8 to the box and get Chase one-on-one on the outside, that can be a game changer, even on one play. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting out of our offense. And like Jerm was saying, I think Waller should be doubled on almost every single play. He's by far the biggest threat on their offense, and I have faith in our front seven to stop the run like they did in week 11.
Right. Now, Darren's obviously he's missed 5 games with an ankle injury. This is going to be his second game back. He played in week 18, and he played, I believe, 80% of the snaps. Vic, did you notice anything from Darren where, is he going to be a factor today, or is it going to be we just got to wait and see how he's feeling after the first quarter?
So, even though he had the most yardage output in that game, Josh, it was 6. I think it was 6 for 117. I saw they did a good job containing him, though. They kept him out of the end zone. They basically didn't let the Raiders score that game. You know what I mean? So they, even though he had a good game, quote unquote, they kind of contained him, which is great. So then after that was kind of like his best output. Like Mo said, he missed 5 games. He's got some ankle, some knee issues going on. So, it's going to be interesting to see if he has that same explosive, because I noticed they don't line him up outside like they did last season. He was like, this guy is so talented. They put him at the X, way outside, take a linebacker with him, take a safety with him, kind of open things up. But lately they're kind of keeping him tight to the formation and stuff like that. And that could be because he just doesn't have the explosiveness. So the Bengals have a great opportunity today to kind of slow him down And that will be huge for them to kind of control the game like they did the first time. I mean, what was it, 35-13 game? So again, to me, that pass rush and like Josh said, get Joe Mixon in that short game going. For example, Tyler Boyd coming out of the slot, quick passes, get them to kind of pay attention to things like that to the point where if the game they need to throw deep because the game is dictates that they will have the players to do that with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So to me, like that pass rush is going to be key because Max Crosby against Isaiah Prince. I mean, bro, to be honest with you, Isaiah Prince is probably still college level type of tackle right now because it's pretty bad there. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Bengals offensive staff does to kind of neutralize the pass rush.
Well, you know one thing that they can do to neutralize the pass rush right away? Slants and drags.
Right, Tyler Boyd.
They don't have to do much. This is to stop the Raiders pass rush. It's really not one of those things that has got to be rocket science. Jamar has shown you he can get quick separation, and T has shown you he can get quick separation, and Boyd is in the slot and he can get quick separation. You also have the fact that you have the screen game. You can neutralize this pass rush in a lot of ways. It's just, are you going to simplify the game? That's going to be, this game is not even about, like, let's take the players out of this for a second. This game is going to be about Zach Taylor. How much have you simplified this game? Because at the end of the day, you're the better team on paper. You're one of the 5 better teams in the field, just in general, with what you have talent-wise. You have no reason not to utilize the playmakers that you have in short areas. Everything should be 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, second and 6 and down. You shouldn't be in a situation where you're ever in 3rd and 10s. You just shouldn't. Or you have no reason to. You have too many different things and outlets at your disposal for you to be able to attack this defense that has a bunch of college professors in the secondary. Like, bro, they don't have real people in the secondary, bro. Like, I know real people, real friends, Judge Judy, but they don't have no conviction in the secondary as far as the corners go. Right. Every time I watch their corners play, I say, boo, boo, tomato, 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 boo. Get them out of here. Yeah. And this is what we seen when we watched the Chargers game. These corners do not do a good job of covering short and intermediate routes. They just don't. Every time it was a 4th and 10 and the Chargers would convert, it would be an intermediate route. It would be a dig or an in. There was nothing special or spectacular about what the route concepts were. It was simply, you just go to that fire hydrant and I'm gonna throw it right there. That's literally what the plays were called. Right. You gave up a touchdown at the end of regulation, bro.
And again, go ahead.
Boo! Tomato, 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 boo!
Well, yeah, Vic, I'm gonna let you jump back in here in a second. Mm-hmm. But just to kind of keep it moving a little bit, we're going, Jerm, I got a question for you, and then Josh, same question for you. Because obviously, Jerm, you named all those weapons on Cincy's offense. Flip it now. If your Cincy's defense, aside from Darren Waller, obviously, is there anybody that scares you? Is there one matchup, be it individual or unit, if you're the Bengals defense, that you're going to be worried about in this game?
I just said if you can't stop the run, I'm only scared of the running game, bro. Hunter Renfrow is gonna get open. Like
he's gonna get his 8 to 10.
Like, bro, him and Cooper Kupp, they just saucy with it. They just like he ran the way they run there did like a whip route. Yeah. If you watch the way he pivots out, and he'll even give you a little extra little sauce on the plate with it. It'll be like a little head fake or something. You'll be like, oh, and he's gonna go that way, and then he's right next to you. So he's gonna get his. The difference is we gotta stop making excuses for other things that these players are not doing, meaning Derek Carr's inaccuracies. The player that's gonna scare me is gonna be Josh Jacobs, because if he gets the ball in the open field, you still have to tackle him. Period, point blank. And the rest of these dudes are regular players, bro. You got guys who get open, you got good players, and you have Darren Waller. It's Darren Waller and just a Waller and Jacobs show, like Key and Peele, Waller and Jacobs. There you go.
Yeah, Josh, same thing for you. Is there any now? Obviously, this is what we talked about. Excuse me if I say his last name wrong. I never know how to say his last name. But Akeem Davis Gather, he's missing from this one. And it's the one thing we were talking about is, are you really going to rely on these Bengals linebackers to make plays in the running game? As far as the defensive line is concerned for the Bengals, they actually come into this game probably at their strongest, in my opinion at least. They come into this game with full depth, plus Mike Daniels, elevated from the practice squad. I don't know where Mike Daniels has been. I knew he was on the Bengals, but I knew I also wasn't seeing him on Sundays. And the fact that he's playing today, believe it or not, Mike Daniels is one of my X factors in this game because he's going to provide a different type of depth in a game that you could potentially need it. Why? Because the Raiders are going to want to play a time-controlled game where they're getting long drives and multiple plays and multiple first downs and keeping Joe Burrow and that highly oiled, well-oiled machine on the sidelines. So I think I kind of just tie this point in. If you're Cincy, on the flip side, the most important thing for them is how will this pass protection hold up on those third downs that Jerm highlighted. No beef, no Lombardi. If that pressure, if they cannot protect and withstand that pressure and give Joe Burrow time, and it turns into them being unable to convert third downs and unable to move the chains and unable to keep series going, it's going to be a problem. So if you're Cincy, that pass protection better hold up. They better get some drives going and force the Raiders to play up to their tempo rather than play down to the Raiders style of play. Because at that point, you're getting into their style. You're getting into what they want to do in that corner. And all of a sudden, you're in trouble if you're Cincy because you can't dictate the pace.
And real quick,
go ahead.
We haven't highlighted this either. Max Crosby is not even the best pass rusher in this game.
He's not.
Trey Hendrickson is the
100%.
best pass rusher in this game. So Trey Hendrickson is getting the matchup against who?
Isaiah.
He
not quite.
No.
Akeem Prince. Oh no. He's getting up against.
He's going against Colton Miller, which is probably been the Raiders' best offensive tackle though. Jordan. To be fair to him,
that's right.
We know that he's kind of limited. He's probably like a B player, B plus 89. Never gonna get to 90 and 95. But he's been their best player against Trey Hendrickson. So I mean, just to me, the matchup between them is gonna be more of a one of those going at each other type of thing, as opposed to Ngakoue or Max Crosby against Isaiah Prince. Is just gonna be a total freaking nightmare if the Bengals let it get to that point. You know what I mean? Like I know what you're getting at.
It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm just saying this now. Trey Hendrickson is about to have 2.5 sacks,
right,
and about 6 pressures today,
and that might be a win. If that happens, that's big for the Bengals. Right. I'll tell you that.
And Samaje might get a lot of snaps and pass protection today too.
It's a good point, Josh. Go ahead, Josh. Anything you want to add to this conversation as far as the Bengals defensive line or the Bengals secondary?
I'm just happy that you highlighted Mike Daniels, because that was one of the things I was going to get to. Was that man is a run stuffer extraordinaire.
100%.
And I truly think I feel that's going to be the difference in this game, because we're going to make the Raiders try to beat us with Derek Carr. And it's you
take your chances at that point.
What's that?
You take your chances at that point. Like, you like your chances if they want to beat you with Derek Carr. Right, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so I feel like it's going to go a lot like it did last time. I know that sounds like a kind of a cop-out,
No,
this game already got played. But, I think Jacobs was like and we jumped on him early too. And so they had to throw the ball. But Jacobs was like 9 for 27. They only had, I think, 68 or 70 yards rushing. That's what I'd like to see again. I think we're going to get something similar. So
See, Josh, you just brought up a very, very, very beautiful point. Okay. You said that you guys jumped on them early in that first game. And that leads to my ultimate point about this game, the very bottom line of this game. Whereas the Bengals getting those series, moving the ball, getting points, that pass protection holding up, and like you said, forcing the Raiders to play to their pace, which means Derek Carr throwing the ball more. So to me, just looking at how this game is supposed to play out, neither one of these teams is good in the red zone, right? So points is going to be crucial, obviously. But the X factor to me for the Las Vegas Raiders, believe it or not, is Deshaun Jackson. That's the X factor in this game. Now, we don't know how much he's going to play, but regardless, he's still the X factor for the Raiders for this one reason. If the Bengals do what they're supposed to do, the Raiders cannot play their game. Like the Raiders can still do what they got to do, and the Bengals stick to their game plan. But if the Bengals come out and do what they're supposed to do and execute and put up points, the Raiders cannot stick to their game plan. And the only way for the Raiders to expand out of their game plan is to throw it deep to who? Deshaun Jackson. Because if Burrow is moving and putting up points and getting 6, you are not going to survive if you're the Raiders thinking you're going to put up 12 to 15 play drives for 60 minutes. It's just unlikely. And that's my final point on this. And because of that, I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals to win this football game. It's not going to be an easy game by any means. The line of scrimmage is where it matters most in January. And the reality is the Raiders are not going to get blown off the ball versus too many teams. And Cincy, they got 1 through 53. Cincy's got it, okay? But 1 through 5, Vegas got it. And that's where it matters most. Right. So I'm taking Cincy, but this is why I believe it's going to be a toughish matchup. Give me Cincy to win this game. I'll go 29-24 Cincy. Vic?
Yeah, no, I mean, we didn't even talk about how great Joe Burrow has been and
get to it, bro.
The projection he had.
I'm done on this game, so we got 4 more minutes on this game.
Right. No, I mean, I just wanted to point it out because the kid is going to be flat out special. And if they, this is now the national stage right here, even more than that college game that he had, where he won that championship over there at LSU. This is going to show this kid, if they can protect him, it's going to show how great this kid is. But like you said, man, like that's a great point with Deshaun Jackson real quick. If they have to utilize him to throw deep, Darren Waller most likely will be double teamed up the middle of the field. Deshaun might get some one-on-one, options there, some one-on-one views. So we'll see what happens with that. Go ahead, Josh. I had the Bengals, by the way. My bad.
You got a score, Vic? My bad, Josh. You got a score, Vic?
No, you good.
I'm gonna go 35-24.
All right.
Bengals.
30. Okay, so for those of you keeping track at home, I took the Raiders with the points. I got the Bengals winning, but according to the line, I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the over and the Raiders with the points. Go ahead, Storms.
I was just going to expand a little bit on you talking about how important it is for both teams to execute out of the gate. I think so. The prevailing strategy, at least as far as I've seen with the coin toss, is if you win, you defer to the second half. I think it is important that whichever team wins the coin toss takes the ball first in this game. Because if you are the Raiders, you do not want to let the Joes get comfortable and get a lead right off the jump.
Bars.
That is the absolute worst case scenario. So the first drive of the game is going to be the most important.
I dig it.
But y'all already know who I'm picking. Give me
Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders 35-2. No, hey, gotta give Mike Daniels that safety, man. I'll take give me 31-20.
Now, Jerm, like I know you about to go, it just shows you how great this matchup is, True. There's still a lot we haven't talked about. We haven't even mentioned the safeties for Cincy. We haven't even mentioned, like Vic said, we didn't go into detail about Joe Burrow. So a lot of things to look at here, Jerm. Which way you going?
In the playoffs, it's about consistency. Who is the team that you believe that will be more consistent on this particular Sunday? I'm taking the Bengals because they're more consistent in every facet of the game. Most importantly, the only way Cincinnati loses this game today is if the coach gets in the way. This game should be a blowout. I'm sticking to the script. It should be another blowout. I'm talking 34-16-ish type of energy. It shouldn't get close. It should be a situation where Cincinnati should dominate it. And throughout the game. And it's not because the Raiders are a bad team. It's just sometimes you meet a juggernaut. This Cincinnati offense is approaching that juggernaut status. We got the quarterback, we got the receivers, and we have the running game. As long as they show up to play, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah. So what's the score you gave, Jerm?
I gave 34-16. Macaulay Culkin.
Hey, if y'all don't mind, I got someone who wants to say hi.
Steelers rule, any other team's rules.
Okay.
Shout out to Mason,
right.
Oh, anybody want a 9-year-old?
Yo, that's classic.
Yo,
that's awesome.
I wouldn't even let you on here, man.
All right, y'all. Listen, it's been a great show so far.
Do Bengals, do Cleveland, and do
Yeah, Mason. Say it with your chest, Mason.
Yo,
we gotta get Mason and Nene to do a pregame show one of these days. And if we find my kid, he can do it on the show too. Anyways, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
Billie Jean. Anyways. Yo, it's been a great show so far. Kickoff is at 4:30, so let's get to this last game. I don't really have much to say on this last game. But I'm going to have a whole lot to say on this next game based on the results, in which we will be back tomorrow, regular time, views and views time. We will be there to cover so much more. And I'm just letting y'all know right now, I will have a lot more to say about this next game based on the results if they come the way I think they will come. So let's get to it.
I'm gonna go first on this one, Mo.
You got
so
it.
Go ahead.
10-7 New England Patriots versus the 11-6 AFC East champs Buffalo Bills. Over under is 44. Plus minus is the Bills are 4.5 point favorites. So that is a 4-4-4. Shout out to Hove. Imaginary players. Go ahead, Jerm. That's my prediction.
I mean,
if you've been following the program, go ahead, Jerm.
I mean, spit that other nice mother, But so New England has ironically only had one game this year that they haven't scored at least 17 points. Only one. And that was a 28-13 loss to the Saints. 17 points is obviously a magic number for New England, right? The other thing here that is going to be interesting for Buffalo is if you force Josh Allen into turnovers early, you can pretty much control him for the rest of the game.
Yes. Say that.
So early turnovers are going to be key. Make sure that you get up into him, hit him, knock him on the ground. Those are going to be the things that I think that they can do early. J.C. Jackson, for him not to be a household name, plays some of the best cornerback in the NFL. I need us to respect him more than we do out here because we talking about a guy who does a lot for New England, gives them a lot of flexibility in the secondary because there are just matchups that he takes guys away from completely out of the game. I think he's going to get a lot of digs today, which I like that matchup for New England more than I like it for Buffalo, just because I think that the pass rush for New England today will be able to get after Josh a little bit more after seeing the first 2 games. Stop the run. New England has the most disrespectful win this year when they threw the ball 3 times against the same Buffalo team. When New England is running the ball and they're running the ball at the rate that we know that they can run the ball at, they're probably one of the 3 best teams in the NFL at running the football.
Mm-hmm.
They run the ball with a plethora of guys, whether it be Bolden, Stevenson, Harris, it doesn't matter who's there. They're going to move people, and these are one stop or one cut runners. That is one cut, and I'm hitting this gap. When those guys are running under their pads and they're hitting these gaps, it's a total different ball game. So you're at Buffalo, you have to stop the run today. So no, you can't have over pursuing from your linebackers, number 1. And number 2, and most importantly, you gotta make sure you make the initial tackle. Because in this game, you're gonna have 8 in the box sometimes. So you miss that initial tackle, and it might be a long way.
Great point.
And again, we said turnovers. Listen, turnovers are so important because for New England, turnovers are a guarantee that they're going to score and get points. For Buffalo, a turnover means Josh Allen is not playing the game properly or managing the game properly, as we're going to use quarterbacking terms. So I need to see today, Bill is going to take away what they want to do most.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to combat that and come back with at least 20 carries in the run game? You can't play in the winter and not run the pigskin. It's really simple. If you come out with a win today, I'm going to chalk that up to whatever it is that you did on offense and tip my cap to you. But there is no way you can't win. You can win this game without having some type of production in the run game. So those are my 3 keys. Those are just a couple of things there. Passing on.
Yeah, Vic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things to touch up on this game. First and foremost, like Germs alluded to, the running game for the Bills, I mean, it's basically non-existent. It's basically Josh Allen and who else? You know what I mean? So, they did win the second game, 33-21. Josh Allen had 64 yards on 12 carries, Germ. So, that was a little bit of a warmer game that day. Is he going to want to run the football in this possibly -10 weather today? Is he going to be the one? Is he going to want to take hits? Is he going to want to hit the ground? Like those 12 carries that he had last time. So it's this so much with this game right now that is so interesting. Mac Jones has kind of hit a little bit of a rookie wall this past month. Has been a little bit off, a little bit inaccurate. Obviously the 2 Bills games, we saw what happened there, especially the first one, with just 3 attempts. The second game, he was, I think it was his lowest at 53%, completion percentage. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots go about this game and how much they use the running backs, because if the Patriots cannot pass the ball, I think that the Bills might still be able to pull this game off. It's going to be a lot tighter, but I still haven't made a pick yet. I wanted to hear kind of what you guys had to say about it. But this is definitely going to be a tough matchup, I think, for the Patriots if they can't pass the ball at least 15 times today, fellas.
So, hey Mo, real quick,
hit me.
The EMP system has an extensive amount of plays for tight ends. New England has about 5 of them. If Jonnu Smith and both Hunter Henry are both playing, they have a lot of plays where they do a lot of things with motion. So they'll motion a guy in the backfield and then send him out on like a little swing route or an arrow route, like a running back. Mm-hmm. And they did that with Jonnu Smith, and they got some good plays out of that.
They're going to have to.
What they're going to have to do today is they're going to have to isolate Hunter Henry against Milano and Edmonds and Poyer and all those guys. And shouts out to Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, all pros this year. Yo, These are players that have been around the league. Couple of teams, bro. I applaud y'all. Real football players matter, bro. And these guys are ballers. Micah Hyde is going to be important, and so is Jordan Poyer. It's going to be really interesting to see because I think the EMP system challenges the Bills differently when teams know how to run it properly than most of conventional offenses. Because Poyer and Micah Hyde are extremely intelligent players. So they know how to – the too deep look is good. But against the EMP, it's hard to play the too deep because with a twin tight end set, with a 12 personnel set, it makes it hard because you can do so much from it. In the EMP system, we're not even talking about the no huddle concept of it. When you can move players around and you start making it into a no huddle where the receivers get to lining up inside the tight ends or the running back, and now we got a receiver in line like he's a tight end at the Y position, and he can go straight up the seam, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's something that Nelson Aguilar is very, very good at. And in this type of game, Nelson Aguilar splitting the two safeties in a too deep situation coming out of a no huddle could be something that could blow the game open or make a big play in the game. So I think the tight ends is something that I would also look at, Vic. I do understand what you mean about the running game, but if both tight ends are available, I think that serves as a really interesting complement to what they can do with the running games because Jonnu Smith is a really good player, and I think we all understand what Hunter Henry can be if he can stay healthy.
Right. The thing is, Jeremy, is that like you alluded to, though, they got two of the smartest safeties in the league, and they completely shut down the tight ends for the Patriots. It's like they know the EMP already. It looks like they study it because the tight ends are just non-existent when it comes to playing against the Patriots, at least this season, for that Bills defense. So they've grown to that offense. They've grown a lot of playing against the Patriots. So, Mac has to be at his best with these receivers because I honestly don't see Hunter Henry and if Jonnu plays having a good game. To be honest with you. So it's going to be the running back. Right. It's going to be the running backs and the receivers.
I'm with you. Right. I'm with you. Look, and again, this is just football talk 101 when it comes down to it. But it's just, I think it's going to be what wrinkles we see today. Like, I know we haven't seen everything out of the EMP system like we've seen with Brady.
Yeah, they're gonna
they're gonna continue to bring out wrinkles with this thing because Matt can that'll be stuff that'll help him get over the rookie wall, in my opinion. Right. Being more creative in my opinion. So go ahead, Mo. I wanted to get you in on this. I'm sorry.
Well, just simply mesh and spot routes with those tight ends early, quick, just to even attempt them. Now you got to be careful. This is where, and now again, not to compare him each time. But what made that system so successful whenever they wanted to implement tight ends and quick passes is that Brady knew where to put it. So you could attempt those passes even within those tight windows, and that the chance of turnover is going to be lower because of where the quarterback is placing the football. So I think that's where it's going to come in for Mac Jones, is not necessarily that arm strength, but that placement, that accuracy. And so I think that's going to be crucial. And then as far as X factors is concerned, it's real simple for me. For the Bills, how is that interior defensive line going to play against the three interior offensive linemen for the Patriots? And then on the flip side, for the Patriots, those three linebackers, that triangle, and that 3-3-5 wide that Belichick loves, those triangle linebackers, Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins, and Dante Hightower, those three players are going to be the biggest keys as far as containing Josh Allen when it comes to extended plays and throwing from outside the pocket. The weather, Mother Nature, is going to be the biggest X factor in this one. A lot we can talk about. Like I said, I'm going to have a lot more to say based on the results of this game. I think for Mac Jones, this is a huge benchmark of his career, whether he wins it or lose it, just the way he plays, like you talked about, Vic. But as far as the Buffalo Bills are concerned, we talk about football maturity all the time, okay? All that's left, the voice has deepened, okay? The muscles have gotten leaner, all right? All that's left for the Buffalo Bills is for their footballs to drop and let them hang. and actually flex their chest.
Right.
Okay, that's all that's left. I'm sorry, Germ. Don't look at me that way. And if this is that moment, they cross this bridge, ain't no telling what's next for the Buffalo Bills.
That's what I'm saying about this whole Nick Wright list. Like,
right,
if Josh Allen can win this game, what that does for Buffalo as a city, being dominated by the Patriots for so long, like that would be an epic win for them, despite them having a rookie quarterback. The Patriots having a rookie quarterback. A quarterback right now that is still finding where his greatness level will be. This is all on Josh Allen's hands. And like I said, I don't know if he's going to want to run the ball 12 times today, because that ground is going to be very, very hard. It's going to be cold. So he's going to have to pass the ball a lot. And Mac Jones, if the tight ends cannot get open for him, it's going to be tough. So I expect the Bills to win this game. According to how I see this matchup play out, I expect the Bills to win this game, Mo. And I'm sorry to say, I think they score another 30 to the Patriots 13.
Okay. You actually gave us New England.
Give me New England.
I hate scores.
I'm going to take New England, and I'm going to take New England by a score of 21-16.
I like that.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the difference in the game is going to be some turnovers and things like that. And I'm going to say something real mean. Right now, I trust Mac Jones with the ball more than Josh Allen.
Who's a better prospect coming out, Jaron?
Mac Jones.
Good question.
Mac Jones. It's not really.
I like it.
That's still a good question. Right. We had Josh Allen number 1 quarterback that year over Baker. You fought me on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And Mac.
I agreed with you because he's bigger. Okay. But Mac,
Mac Jones number 1. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, we had Zach Wilson.
But nobody else did.
Right. Well,
but the point is, nobody else did. Right. Mm-hmm. And they turned out to be probably the 2 best out of that class.
Yes.
With the exception of, Lamar still making a case. Yes, I said it. Anyways, Josh, go ahead there, sir, before I take it back.
Sorry, Josh.
Take a knee on this show.
You good? I don't really have a lot on this game. I don't honestly really care too much. It'd be cool to see the Mac versus Joe storyline. Mm-hmm. But I do like both of those score predictions. I think I don't think the Patriots can score probably more than 24 points in this game. So if it gets to that point, I'll take the Bills. But I think I'm more in line with Germ. Give me the Patriots in a lower scoring game.
Listen, man, when it's that cold, there's a chance of flurries. And anytime it's that cold and it's January and Bill is playing somebody he is a lot more experienced than, there's a chance for an avalanche. So all this talk about the Patriots might not be able to score 30 points, maybe not traditionally, but special teams, defense, there's a lot of potential here for New England to find ways to put up points and keep the pressure on Josh Allen, rather than the last game, even though or 2 games ago, even though they won it, even though they dictated the pace and controlled the line of scrimmage and time of possession, it was always still the pressure on New England because you knew at any moment that the Bills could just take off. So the only way for the Patriots to offset that is if the 3 amigos get together and they really start forcing some turnovers and some winning some field position and converting on key downs. I know what Big Shot is thinking about right now because I'm about to make my prediction, and this is a very unbiased prediction. Okay, I am taking the New England Patriots to win this football game. I think it is very hard to out physical a good Bill Belichick football team, and Bill Belichick has a very good football team. This is one of those games where Bill should win. Bill should have his guys ready to go. He's got the personnel, the scheme matches, the X's and O's are there, the Rex's and Joes are there. Give me New England to win this game. I'm going 23-20. Pats.
So basically, you got one bill that's so big, it's bigger than the bills than in other people's pocket. Gotcha.
Yes. Hey. Yes. Okay. Yes. I got a $100 bill and I got 99 cents bills. Shout out to Hove one more time. Anything, fellas, we want to add before we get off this line?
Just make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow morning.
Yes.
We'll break down this game and both these two games, and we'll also talk about the games for Sunday. And also stay sucker free because it's a world full of lollipops.
Always. Josh, anything you want to add?
I'm supposed to follow that?
Yeah, all right.
Nah, man, I'm just excited.
15 minutes
Coming up on kickoff, I think. So
yes, sir.
let's go.
Vic, anything you want to add?
Nah, let's just get to this game, man. We'll go get some popcorn real quick.
Use 2022 live on the scene. Get your popcorn ready. Get your drinks. Get your nachos. Get whatever you want to get. Enjoy 2 fantastic games. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 11:30 Eastern. 2-2. Take us home, True.
22.